has burned really hot through this area.
While extreme dry conditions raises the fire risk in Texas.
We have not received a quality rain in our region in over 3 weeks.
We'll look back at a maritime disaster that happened during a hurricane 10 years ago.
Now at the mercy of the estimated 30-foot waves and catastrophic 150-mile-per-hour winds.
And how one community is using plans to help manage stormwater runoff.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. Hurricane Imelda continues to move away from the U.S., but the core of the storm passed over Bermuda Wednesday night, packing winds of 100 miles per hour sustained. The worst impacts are expected to last through this morning. Imelda is also churning up dangerous surf, rip currents, and coastal flooding along the east coast. Earlier on Wednesday, hurricane hunters flew into Imelda. The strong winds created the streaking effect that you can see right here on the ocean surface. There are now 2 other areas that show possible development over the next several days. Meteorologist Lauren Oleski is tracking the tropics for us this morning.
The Atlantic Basin right now, yes, we've got a little blob over the state of Florida. There is Hurricane Imelda, and then we've got this other wave that's going to be moving off the coast of Africa. Low development chance here. We'll monitor this. Of course, we've got Imelda and then this area here. Now, I'm not really concerned with some major system developing. However, there's a lot of moisture coming in over the next few days, and the rain chance is going to stay elevated as we go through the weekend and into the start of next week. Imelda remains a hurricane with 85-mile-per-hour winds, currently moving away from Bermuda right now, likely dissipating and becoming post-tropical later today and into tomorrow, and then continuing to stay out to sea, moving really quickly right now too at 30 miles per hour. Now, we're still dealing with impacts up and down the U.S. coastline. Small craft advisory, high surf advisories, coastal flood advisories, all still in effect from Maine all the way down to the southeastern coast of Florida, even the Gulf Coast dealing with some of those small craft advisories.
The 7th ocean front house in the Outer Banks collapsed last night in the high surf caused by Imelda. 6 houses collapsed on Tuesday and more could collapse in the coming days. All the homes have been vacant and so far there are no related injuries. Hurricane Umberto was part of history last weekend. A small wind-powered ocean robot became the first uncrewed surface vehicle to capture and transmit data from inside a Category 5 hurricane. Now this animation shows where the 4-foot long robots were placed in Umberto's path. It captured a host of data, including wind speed and direction, air pressure, and sea surface temperature. The data is part of research by NOAA, the University of Southern Mississippi, as well as Ocean, the British company that built the robots. And while Hurricane Umberto was never expected to make landfall, there was a point when forecasters thought Imelda might. But that, of course, did not happen. When both packed hurricane force winds, Imelda's movements were influenced by something called the Fujiwara effect. Meteorologist Phil DeCastro breaks it down.
As Umberto and Imelda have churned across the Atlantic over the last several days, a certain term has become mentioned quite a bit in reference to these storms. The Fujiwara effect has played a big role in how they have moved, and it may have saved the southeast a landfall from Imelda. This Fujiwara effect is a term describing how 2 rotating systems will interact and potentially pivot around each other if they get close enough. And if there's a big discrepancy in the size of the 2 systems, the larger one typically exerts more of an influence on the smaller one. Sometimes that means it can pull it off track. Sometimes that means absorbing it. And in the case of tropical systems like these storms, the centers of those storms only need to get about 1,400 kilometers or about 870 miles away before they start to influence each other. So here's how that has played out with Umberto and Imelda. If you go back to this past weekend, Umberto, a very powerful Category 4 hurricane, at one point reached Category 5 strength. Imelda had only more recently formed, was only a tropical depression at the time. Now, as those 2 systems moved off to the northwest, they got closer and closer and closer until late Monday night into Tuesday morning. At that point, Umberto only about 500 miles away from Imelda, and that's well within that 870 miles mentioned earlier. And you also start to see Imelda's northward drift start to stall out. Now see, the Fujiwara effect wasn't the only thing at play here. Another important factor, the presence of a big area of high pressure sitting near the Great Lakes. And that high was pushing back on Imelda, not quite deflecting it away though. So what this could have done, if it was just that high pressure, it could have led to Imelda stalling out out on the coast, causing huge problems with torrential rain and flooding. Thankfully, Imelda won't be making landfall, and the southeast and mid-Atlantic likely dodging a bullet.
Well, this year alone, wildfires have burned more than 200,000 acres in Washington state, and currently there are 11 major fires burning there. Meteorologist Stella Sun spoke with officials to learn more about the fires and ongoing efforts to put them out.
Across Washington state,
237,000 acres have burned this fire season, and we have 11 major fires burning right now.
in the Okanagan-Wenatchee Forest, the Labor Mountain Fire burning over 37,000 acres.
On this fire right now, we also have 567 structures or homes, residents in the evacuation level.
It's forcing a 30-mile closure of Highway 97 Blewett Pass.
Are the black, the gray, and the orange kind of behind us. And what that indicates is that the fire has burned really hot through this area.
Really hot fires or high severity fires increase the risk for water runoff, erosion, even mudslides and landslides.
They can move that sediment down and put it on the road, put a risk to travelers.
Debris from mud flows can poison water sources.
They also can impact the fisheries, the water systems, and cause detriment to, the anadromous fish, the salmon.
Just to the northeast of the Labor Mountain Fire, over 39,000 acres of land consumed by the Lower Sugarloaf Fire, 12 miles northeast of Leavenworth.
On the Lower Sugarloaf, we have all three level 3, 2, and 1 evacuations in place currently.
As wildfires continue to burn across the state,
every part of the state of Washington has been impacted by wildfire smoke this year, and it can have very serious health impacts.
And as we get deeper into fall, wildfire risk is rising in places all across the country. Drought and dry conditions mixed with dry falling leaves is a recipe for disaster. That's the case in Texas, where meteorologist Oda Carlo is with a look at how you can protect your home from fall wildfire dangers.
We're over areas just south and west of San Antonio where extreme to exceptional drought conditions continue. We have not received a quality rain in our region in over 3 weeks, and vegetation is drying quickly. As you can see, green areas are quickly becoming brown across South Texas. Because of this, fire danger is high. Any spark can quickly cause a wildfire that will spread very easy across dry vegetation.
We just haven't received the type of rainfall that we had earlier in the year, and the fact that because we did get significant rainfall earlier in the year, the ground fuels had a lot of growth.
Bexar County Fire Marshal Chris Lopez says a burn ban will likely continue through at least November, and if we don't see significant rain, it will be extended further.
We have made the recommendation that people not burn at all, and we want to continue that recommendation.
He has these tips to keep your property safe.
Clean around your residential structure. Make sure that you have a good 50, 100 feet of clearance around your home. Don't have any type of firewood or anything that's a heavy fuel load stacked up against your house or even close to your house. Try to keep all of your gutters clear from any kind of leaves and debris.
Unfortunately, the forecast ahead stays dry with temperatures running above average through the first half of October, meaning fire will continue to be a concern.
It's been a great week to see the northern lights. They have been visible in many northern states several nights this week. Here's a unique view taken by a NOAA satellite. That bright streak across Canada is the aurora borealis high above the Earth. It tends to be active in times around the equinox due to the alignment of the Earth's magnetic field and solar winds. And for the latest weather news and video, be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us on all your favorite platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, 10 years ago, tragedy struck in the middle of a Category 4 hurricane. We'll look back at one of the worst maritime disasters in recent U.S. history, and we're going to find out what a possible La Nina year means for winter weather.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. It's another seasonably cool day in the Northeast today with a lot of sunshine. Should be a gorgeous fall day out there. Afternoon highs will generally be in the low to mid 60s after a chilly start in the 40s. We'll warm it up by afternoon to the 60s, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There'll be a few clouds that mix in, probably fair weather clouds as high pressure remains firmly in control of the weather in the Northeast. Friday begins the warm up. We should be in the 70s. We're near 80 over the weekend.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Looks like your Thursday afternoon is going to be pleasant. Lots of sunshine, and the same will be true on Friday as well. High pressure continues to build into the region, keeping things very quiet and rain-free. Going into your Thursday afternoon, though, it will still be pleasant after a very chilly start. Temperatures in the 60s to low 70s, and very similar conditions on Friday as well. We'll see temperatures recovering to the upper 70s this weekend.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. Afternoon high temperatures across the area will be in the upper 80s, lower 90s. We do see a little bit of that wedging effect going on in the Carolinas and northern Georgia, with afternoon high temperatures there in the upper and middle 70s. A few coastal showers to start off the day in South Florida. We are also going to be watching that sea breeze develop, keeping most of the showers and storms off the coastline of the Carolinas and South Georgia. We could see a few creep on in the overnight hours.
I'm Brett Luna, meteorologist at Fox 17 News in Nashville, Tennessee, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
10 years ago, tragedy struck in the middle of a Category 4 hurricane. The cargo ship El Faro sank off the Bahamas. All 33 people on board died. It's one of the worst maritime disasters in recent history. Greg Lagerquist looks back at the El Faro's fateful final voyage.
The El Faro left Jacksonville, Florida in late September 2015, bound for Puerto Rico, with about $16 million in cargo, plus 33 crew members on board. As the ship traveled south, then Tropical Storm Joaquin loomed to the east, but Captain Davidson believed it was forecast to stay north of their path.
Intentions of obviously passing in front of the weather system.
But early the morning of October 1st, as the El Faro tries to outrun now Hurricane Joaquin, the storm turns south, pitting the ship between the storm and the Bahamas. El Faro starts to take on water, listing 15 degrees. The ship loses propulsion, now at the mercy of the estimated 30-foot waves and catastrophic 150-mile-per-hour winds. That morning, the ship's captain, Michael Davidson, still calm, tries to reach the ship's owner, Tote Maritime, but only reaches voicemail.
We have a navigational incident. Everybody's safe, but I want to talk to you.
He then tries the company's emergency call center to get help from an onshore expert known as a QI, or qualified individual. As he talks to an operator, his desperation grows.
Ship's name? El Faro.
Spell that? E-L?
Oh, man. The clock is ticking. Can I please speak with a QI?
But it would be too late. A massive Coast Guard search that week would recover no bodies. A month later, the El Faro was found almost 3 miles down, upright on the ocean floor.
West Virginia and the Appalachian Mountains are popular with leaf peepers. Meteorologist Doug Harlow took to the road to see how the foliage is looking so far this season.
And we're on our way to the higher elevations of the Mountain State. We start noticing some good color once we travel east of Elkins and enter the Monongahela State Forest. The first place we stop is Rich Mountain. We're not yet to full color in this area, but in 1 or 2 weeks, this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal vantage point. Just be alert for passing vehicles. We then follow US 33 east to the much more well-known Seneca Rocks. Trees are still mostly green here at Seneca Rocks. Peak color is still about 2 weeks away. But this is one of the most popular places in the Mountain State to take in fall's beauty. It's amazing the role that the change in elevation can play in fall foliage. Here just below Spruce Knob along Route 33, most of the trees are still green. But a 20-minute drive, a couple 1,000-foot elevation change, and a 15-degree temperature drop from where we just were, it's a much different story. Here at Spruce Knob, the highest point in West Virginia at 4,863 feet. Several nights early in the month of September that dipped into the 30s and even 20s up here have really helped the leaves to pop. This is the first place in the Mountain State to see peak foliage, and it usually happens in the latter part of September. So this year is right on schedule. Because of the recent dry conditions and the fact that it tends to be windier at the summit, some of the leaves have already come down off the trees at the top of Spruce Knob. But the drive up to the top, you'll be treated to some brilliant fall color. The fall foliage season is just beginning in our area, and with recent rain to help ease the drought that has developed, we're hoping for a spectacular season of leaf peeping ahead.
NOAA is forecasting a possible La Nina year, so what that could mean for the fall and what could that mean for the fall and winter season? Meteorologist Stella Sun shows us how the Pacific Northwest could be impacted.
Autumn in the Pacific Northwest.
You look around and the place is gorgeous.
Gorgeous fall colors paint nature's canvas with vibrant shades of yellow, orange, and red. But the leaves changing color means
I don't think we're ready for it to turn.
A turn in the weather.
And we know that it's coming once we hit October.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Climate Prediction Center forecasts a 71% chance for a weak La Nina to develop. La Nina is when colder ocean waters along the west coast of South America push the jet stream north, impacting the weather in our neck of the woods.
Hopefully we get more rain.
More rain than usual. That's NOAA's weather outlook between October and December.
I like the rain. It's refreshing.
The big darkness is coming. I always get a little sad this time of the year.
As for temperatures the next 3 months, the odds can tilt in either direction for warmer or colder than normal temperatures.
Just gonna try to be positive and get outside whenever possible.
Even as the leaves fall,
it's been really pretty,
and the rainy season arrives,
it's gorgeous for a reason. It's because of the rain, and we do need the rain.
Beauty is always around in the Pacific Northwest.
Really soaking in all that the Northwest beauty and everything it has to offer.
In Tennessee, officials are working with certain types of native plants to slurp up water and help manage storm water runoff. Katie Glatton has that story.
Native plants may be the answer.
But a lot of native plants, a lot of prairie flowers, native grasses, they have a very long fibrous root system that, goes way into the soil.
Hamilton County Master Gardener Hannah Lanning says that most of our yards have turf grass, which have smaller roots.
And you maybe have like 2 or 3 inches of grass on top of the soil, but then you've also only have maybe 2 or 3 inches of roots beneath the soil. And that doesn't do a lot to reabsorb that water.
The city of Chattanooga will help cover the cost of some native plants, like the coneflower and milkweed, which are absorbent.
There's a bunch of other different benefits and compensations that we offer for different programs within that RainSmart umbrella, and it kind of just depends on the resident's property, right?
The city's RainSmart program also helps cover the cost of rain barrels and rain gardens. This rain garden is at Lynbrook Park.
So if it falls on an impervious surface, that means a surface that can't absorb water, then it's just going to fall straight out into the road. Whereas if it falls on something like a rain garden or some kind of catchment, then it'll stay on that person's property.
Hancock says these plants also help unwanted materials from getting into our waterways.
Every time it rains, that rain falls anywhere in the city and it carries pollutants with it as it makes its way into the Tennessee River.
Lanning says one of the best ways to get started is to pay attention to your own yard.
Just look outside the window on a rainy day, see where that rain is going, and then once you know where the rain is coming from and where it's going, then you can know how to address it.
This year, the start of October is not just coming with changing leaves and cooling temperatures. It's also bringing something new to the night sky. Here's meteorologist Natalie Walters.
Well, a newly discovered comet may be visible to the naked eye as we head into the month of October. This is comet C 2025 R2 Swan, which was discovered earlier this month and as of right now could be visible with binoculars in the western horizon. Now, right now you have the best chance to see this the further south you are. In fact, southern hemisphere has the best view of it currently. However, as we head closer to mid-October, when it makes its closest approach to Earth, you may be able to see it with the naked eye. So right now, if you have a nice pair of binoculars, wait until after sunset, right as it gets dark. Look low in the horizon, near Mars, kind of in the western horizon, and you may be able to see this comet.
And time now for a short break, but first we take in views of the lights in Las Vegas.
Well, a very good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Mike. We've got a few pockets of rain, but most of the Midwest still staying dry for the day today, with temperatures warming into the 80s and got a couple 70s there near the Great Lakes. As we continue on into the day tomorrow, temperatures warming up a little bit more for us. Got a few 90s on the map, and most of us at least into the 80s tomorrow. Still staying dry, but a little rain starts moving in from the west Saturday.
Good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suche. Look at our forecast today across the region. Nice, comfortable morning. Afternoon, a lot of sunshine, 80s and 90s for highs. May see a couple of sprinkles or showers, portions of Arkansas down through Louisiana. And then on Friday, we have an upper low that's out over the Gulf, and with it, the flow around it. You should be able to kick up a few sprinkles or showers, portions of central South Texas. Highs, 80s and 90s on Friday.
Well, hi there and a good Thursday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, it is the prettiest time of the year. We're settling back down, feeling and looking like fall. Fog gone from much of the California coastline. We'll hit the low 70s in Santa Barbara and back toward Laguna Beach today. Low 80s back for Salt Lake City. Still lingering showers pushing into the Treasure Valley in Idaho because of this big disturbance that continues to lose its juice here out west offshore from Seattle and Portland. And that's the scene from here.
I'm George Flickinger, Chief Meteorologist of WSET ABC 13, serving Central and Southwest Virginia, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
When it comes to fall, it's not just the changing leaves and cooler temperatures we look forward to, but it's also fewer bugs. Meteorologist Katie Morgan posted on TikTok about when you can expect mosquito season to end where you live.
I am tired of those mosquitoes. So, when is mosquito season where you live? Here's a map of our mosquito season, when it starts and when it typically ends. Of course, it can vary a little bit, especially dependent on short-term weather patterns. But typically, of course, we're looking at a near year-round season in our southern states with a more shorter season the farther north you go. Mosquitoes love temperatures 70 degrees or hotter. So for those southern states, your season's gonna last a lot longer. On the flip side, they become less active when temperatures slip below 50 degrees. So once temperatures start slipping below 50 degrees, that's when the mosquitoes will start to go hibernate. Unfortunately, the next couple of weeks look to stay above average for a lot of the country, which means the mosquitoes are going to be hanging on a little longer into the beginning of October. So hang on a little bit longer. We should have our victory within the next month.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.